Welcome everyone to Thursday's MUTV group chat. A dramatic and possibly quite stressful weekend ahead. A whole season coming down to just one afternoon in Leicester. A point would do it for United. Leicester need a win, and that's before you consider the permutation involving Chelsea. So let's try and sort it out with the lads. Maisie, Ben, Danny, Wes are here. Guys, how you doing? Okay, looking forward to it?
Yeah, morning, Stu. All good, thanks.
All good.
A lot to get through in this show, and we've got the perfect guest to speak ahead of Sunday. Former United defender, is now obviously a massive part of the Leicester side. Jonny Evans is good enough to join us, good enough to speak to us. How you doing, Jonny?
I'm good, Stuart. I'm very good.
Yeah. What a dramatic weekend ahead. I can't believe it's all come down to this. Can you?
You know, a lot of things do go down to the last day in league situations, and it's sort of been hinted at, and we've got that point now, and it comes down to a game between, like you say, ourselves and United.
And how are the lads? How's the spirit in your camp? Obviously, you've had this week to build up to it. What's the feeling in the camp?
Well, we've had a couple of days off after our last game against Spurs. It's probably been the first time we've actually had that chance. With the games coming so thick and fast, and obviously United hadn't had the chance to do that because the FA Cup fixture at the weekend rearranged their league fixtures. So it's actually been nice for us to have that sort of 2 days away. Especially after we lost the game at the weekend. So once we get back in and we sort of regroup and hopefully try and make good use of the rest that we've got.
Who's under the most pressure going into this one? Everyone associates United with the Champions League, but then again, Leicester have been there for most of the season. So who's under the most pressure going into this one?
There's no pressure on us whatsoever.
Very diplomatic.
I think there's pressure. I think Man United, obviously, there's definitely going to be more pressure on them in Chelsea with the history of the clubs in terms of qualifying and the expectations. Probably at the start of the season, getting into the European places was a target that we set. We managed to do that in the top six, break into the top six, and I think anything after that's a bonus for us.
And from a defender's point of view, Jonny, I just wondered what you make of United's the front three with Mason. Obviously, he's really come onto the scene this season. Obviously, Anthony and Marcus. From a defender's point of view, how much of a challenge is that?
I'll talk to you about that after Sunday if you want to come back on. Honestly, they're fantastic players, and the quality they've got going forward, the speed, and obviously the young lad Greenwood's come in and you can tell straight away his finishing's just it's fantastic. It's I watched the game last night, and the goal that he scores, he seems to be scoring a lot of goals like that, and he's a real good striker of the ball. So it'll be a big challenge for us, and we've had a few injuries over the last couple of weeks with especially a lot of our defence that's probably been playing throughout the season. So we'll have to sort of regroup, and it'll be a big challenge for all of us.
Because yourself and Soyuncu had formed a really, well, it seemed to me at least, had formed a really effective partnership, and I suppose that must have been a bit of a blow with it when he was suspended.
Yeah, I mean he's come in and he's been incredible, really. It was probably his first full season in the Premier League, and he's been outstanding. And I think he's getting better and better. Even the games sort of leading up, before suspension, he was putting in some really good performances, and he's starting to look like a real complete player. And I think any player will tell you, especially as a defender, you're only as good as what the rest of your teammates are doing, and defending in a unit and defending from the front. We've got a player, Jamie Vardy, he sets the press off for us, and the way he goes about, he sets the tone, and it's a lot easier when your players around you are playing like that.
I suppose talking about defenders, it's quite ironic that Harry Maguire comes back to Leicester on the final day of the season with United. Obviously, you know him very well, but you've been keeping tabs with him because obviously becoming captain so quickly in his United career is quite an accolade, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean Harry. I think when Harry's signing for the club, obviously he had a bit of a decision to make where to go, and I think a lot of us were, myself, told him to get to United. I think it was a perfect made club for him. I said to him within a year he'd be captain of the club, and he ended up being when he got given the captaincy, I texted him. I said, "Oh, it was quicker than what I expected." But I think he's got that, the perfect sort of personality for it. And I think you look at Harry. He never gets injured. He's played all season, and I think he's been a really, really, really good signing for them. And I'm pleased to see him doing well. I haven't spoken to him in the last couple of weeks now, but I saw him probably about a month ago. But since then, the chat's gone a bit quiet.
Let's bring in the lads. Ben, do you want to kick off?
Morning, Johnny. How you doing? You
All
okay?
right, Ben. Yes,
Yeah.
good, thanks.
Listen, mate. In an already excellent career with a few different clubs, who sticks out in your mind as being the sort of the best defensive partner for yourself, and why?
That's a difficult one. I think when you're playing in different sort of, being able to compare the start of my career, obviously playing with Wes, Rio, Vidic, players like that, and then to compare it to now, it's quite difficult to do. People have asked me this question before, and I think sometimes, as you always think that the centre back that you're playing with at that moment in time is the best one if you get a clean sheet at the weekend. So, but maybe you take for granted the players in the past that you play with. You go back and you watch old clips, and you see how good they were. And I was very fortunate to come through at Man United, and Wes, Rio, Vidic, even Shazy playing centre back sometimes, and some top players that I was able to learn off.
You did well to mention Wes there as well. Wes, you want to?
Johnny, I'm not going to ask you a question about the weekend because I want you to lose, mate. Sorry. But,
I know you do.
But at Leicester at the moment, who's the best trainer, mate? You worked really hard. I just want to know. I'm trying to guess it's Vardy, but I'm not sure.
No, he's the worst.
Is it?
He's a bit of the Tevez mould. Remember Tevez? He didn't bother his arse all week, and then as soon as game day comes, he can just sort of turn it on. And we've got a couple of good trainers. I'd probably say there's a little lad Mendy. His stats are through the roof every day. And Didi's another one. Didi's a good trainer. I think a lot of our training sessions are quite intense. It's not one of them places where you go and you just sort of chill out for the week. We train quite hard, and I think that's prepared us, quite well throughout the season.
Yeah, well, Maisie.
I've got nothing to say to him. I just hope they lose. If anything, Johnny, what's Leicester's team news? Any injuries that are coming back, or any info you can give us that we could use? Obviously, this is all off camera. Obviously.
No, I think everything's pretty. From the last game, I'm not sure if anything's changed. Like I said, I've had my 2 days off, so I'm not too sure if there's anyone back in.
What's it like having 3 girls in the house?
So it's all right. They're away at the moment. So they're back in Belfast. So I went home after the Spurs game, and I've come back, and obviously there's no food or anything. so I went to my mum's house last night, and she cooked me up a little lasagna. So I get looked after, and I'm just glad I got the little boy now. So
yeah. What about Helen? Is she a good cook?
She is very good. She's unbelievable, actually. So, like I say, she's good around the house. Am I allowed to say that these days?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. We might have to edit that out.
You just say it anyway.
To be fair, even in lockdown, Helen, she was up at we wake up 7 o'clock in the morning. She's up cooking for the day, making stews, soups, everything. So she's on it.
So you're putting it in. It's very difficult for her this weekend as well. I imagine, Johnny. Obviously, she wants you to win, but also she's a big United fan. Tricky.
Yeah, I had a little pop at her a couple of weeks ago because she kept writing things on Twitter saying flying and that. And they obviously linking United things in. I said, "Well, who are you supporting at the minute?" And it's a no lose situation for her, I suppose.
Yeah. Webbs.
Johnny, I was chatting to someone the other day in Sunderland, and they said without you, they wouldn't have got promoted in that season. How important was it for you? So obviously at the beginning of your career to have a full season, especially under Keano?
Yeah, I mean, it was myself and Danny Simpson. We went up there during the championship season, and Keno obviously being the manager, it was like, it was a big deal for me at the time, and myself and Simo, and it turned out to be an incredible experience. What I think sometimes as a young lad, when you go on loan, your loan has to be good. And, we got fortunate. Some lads can go on loan and it can go against them. It can work out wrong. But going from Antwerp to there and, having the experience of playing under pressure, of playing, in front of Sunderland fans and playing for Roy Keane, where, standards are high, was, a great experience. And obviously we ended up going on to win the league that year, which was always nice to sort of come away with, a trophy at the end as well. So, big moment in my career and probably one of the most enjoyable experiences of my career as well.
Was Neil Bailey the coach at the time?
Yeah, so there was a bit of a link because Keno had taken Neil up. I actually went back the following year in 2008 in the January on loan when they were in the Premier League. It was the year United Wes won the cup final in Moscow, and so I was on loan there, and Ricky Sprague had ended up being brought in, so there was always a bit of a connection. Raymond van der Houw ended up as goalkeeping coach, so there was a big sort of United link there as well, which was probably, I suppose, helped me settle in.
Do you think, Jonny, at the moment it's difficult, I suppose it's difficult for you to say, but do you think, are you playing or have you been playing some of your best football?
I think as you get, I feel as I've got older, you probably get more consistent, and obviously injury-wise, it's been my best season. I managed to be fit for, I don't think I've missed a day of training this season or missed a game. And I don't know, maybe Maisie and Wes, as a defender, maybe you sort of feel as you get older, the mistakes kind of go out the window a bit more and you become a bit more sure of yourself. Probably from a mental point of view, you can deal with sort of making a mistake quicker and you get over it quicker in a game. So little things like that, I suppose, probably has contributed to me probably being able to play my most consistent football, yeah.
Did you go with that, Wes?
Yeah, totally agree. I think that's just normal. I think that happens at probably any level. As soon as you get a bit older, especially the mistakes, because you still will make mistakes, but you just it doesn't bother you as much. You can pretty much start the next game, completely forget about it and get on with it. But yeah, it's about right, that, yeah.
So United fans, I would say to you, Jonny, that it annoys them to see you playing so well because they think you should probably still be playing for us. Do you ever get that from United fans?
You get the odd one, you said, maybe I saw them in the street or what, but I kind of just brush it off. I had my time at United, I had a great time there. There was some really enjoyable experiences. I look back on it so fondly, and I think anyone does, any ex-player, just to say the fact that you played for Man United, it's just was incredible. And I've a different part of my career now, and I'm enjoying that too. Sorry, lads, I've just got the training ground. I've got to get my temperature taken here.
Well, listen, Jonny, we'll leave you to it, mate. But thank you so much for joining us, mate. We appreciate it. We appreciate you joining us, mate. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Jonny.
Good to see you.
All the best, Jonny.
Yeah, not going to say good luck
mate.
for the weekend, but thanks for joining us, mate. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
There you go, Jonny Evans. Brilliant of him to join us on his way to Leicester. In case you're wondering, by the way, he was not driving. He was being driven. He was not driving. Yeah, I don't want to. I'm just saying, Ben. I don't want to embarrass him there, but a lot of people think, he shouldn't have gone really when it was 2015. He shouldn't have gone.
No, I think you're probably best off asking Wes that, but he answered it not long ago. That Wes, did you say that he had a couple of months in one particular season where things just went wrong for him? You can probably explain it better than me, but
it was just a few games, a couple of months, and a little bit of a bad patch, and which we all have. I've been through it. I'm sure everyone else has as well, and I think it was silly and way too early before we got rid of Jonny. But sometimes there's a manager that comes along and maybe doesn't have you as much as somebody else, and it was just unfortunate that he went. But for me, Jonny was always a class footballer, and when he's young, playing at Man United, sometimes you can make the mistakes, but you can see sort of the player he's matured into.
Maisie, by the way, where are you, Maisie? People might not recognise that background.
I am in I'm in a hotel in St Andrews.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you're playing today.
I played golf yesterday, and I'm playing today, mate. And then I'm driving back home.
How was it yesterday? Not bad.
Oh, it was lovely. Yeah, a little bit drizzly, but warmed up in the afternoon to about 10 degrees. So, yeah. But no,
I'm assuming you saw the game last night, Maisie, as well. What do you make of the situation?
We're stuttering, aren't we? We just can't seem to get over the line. You know, I'm sure everybody will have their own opinions on what Paul did, but it's. I think if you ask any of the players or any of us doing this now, looking back in January, would you have took this scenario? You'd have snapped their hands off. So we've got to make sure that we step up to the plate on Sunday and do the business. It's difficult because a draw is good enough for us, but you can't play for a draw. We've got to go there and go for the win. And I think if you go out with a mindset of, well, you know, a draw is good enough, and you try and defend it, you'll come unstuck, because it's a shootout. Leicester, they know that if they win the game, they go into the Champions League, and then we're relying then on the Wolves Chelsea game. So it's in our hands, and we've got to make sure that we take the opportunity.
On that point, Webbs, I mean, yeah, we do only need a draw, but you can't think like that, can you? You just can't play for a draw, can you?
No, Maisie hit the nail on the head, and I don't think anyone ever, especially pulling on a United shirt, would ever walk out and play for a draw. You can't. You've got to go and try and win every game. But this is the type at the end of the season where the pressure's real. When you've actually got to get whatever it is, wherever you are, get it over the line. Whether you're playing in a final, whether you're trying to win the league, whether we are trying to get in the Champions League. And you see, sometimes your form goes out the window, and I think that shows how strong the team was back in the day that these lads played in. Because when it was business time for business, they just got their head down, pulled together, and made sure they got through it. And I think that's what these lads need to do right now: pull together, trust each other, trust themselves, and get it over the line, and rebuild again for the following season.
Ben, I mean, it's been 13 Premier League unbeaten since the Burnley game in January. So I suppose that shows it's needed a run like that just to get to the fringes of the Champions League. It has been a great run, hasn't it? It'd be a shame not to see the job through.
Yeah, it would, to fall at the final hurdle. And Maisie's right. I think since the Southampton game, and I think they gave us a little bit of a wake-up call with the way that they played. Even though we got a victory against Crystal Palace, it hasn't been the United team that we've been used to seeing, especially since the lockdown. They've just lost that fluidity. They've seemed to have, I don't know, they just seem to look a little bit leggy, I think, as well. But going back to your question, yes, you definitely would have taken this position. No matter, it's still in Manchester United's hands. I think that they've worked incredibly hard to get to where they are today. And it would be, an immense disappointment if they fell at the final hurdle.
Guys, if we just have a think about this, the team for Sunday, assuming everyone's fit and we don't know that, would you still go with that sort of side that we've basically been seeing in this recent run, or would you think of making a change or two for Leicester? What do you reckon, Wes? Start with Wes.
I mean, it's a tough one, isn't it? I would probably stick with it. I mean, it has got some really good results lately in the last couple of weeks. Ollie might decide to change a couple, but I think ultimately they're the main ones at the moment. But you just don't know. I just think the attacking abilities that we have with him, in any part of the game, they could change the game. Any one of them, especially any one of the three up front. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? It's yeah. It's just, I mean, I just think it's important to start well and focus on what we're trying to achieve really, because this is one of them games. I've probably been in this situation, the other end of the table, where we've got to win to stay up. And it's one of them where you don't really want to think about the game all week. You just want to get it over with. You just want to go in, concentrate, get it over with. So it's going to be interesting, but the lads have to focus on it, and because it's there, we know we can do it. but we're all going to have to stick together and do it together.
I think we
Amazing.
have to score.
Yeah.
We have to score. If you get the first goal, then you can dictate, you control the game. If they score, it can go either way. It really can. It's your mindset, Stu. You've got to go out with the right attitude. If you think a draw's good enough, then we'll come stuck. We will.
The longer it stays a 0-0, the more nervy United will become, definitely, and that's understandable. But for me, from the team that started yesterday, he'll change the 2 fullbacks. The rest of the team will be as you were.
So if Luke Shaw's fit, I mean, we've missed him, haven't we? Actually, in the last few games. Yeah,
we have. Yeah, Luke Shaw and Aaron Wan-Bissaka from the team that started last night, and I think the rest of the personnel, as Wes said, I can't see him changing that, because I don't think that any of the other lads now will be at a stage fitness-wise where they will be able to come in and be effective.
Yeah, Webbs, did you do anything different? Or
no, I agree with that entirely. And I think the fitness is a good point. You know, these lads who haven't played the amount of minutes can't just walk into into this game. And I think we saw that in the last game, not like the game, 2 games ago against Chelsea, when Fred came in. Fred had played consistently, you know, the beginning half of the season, or before lockdown, and he was fit and he was playing at his best. And I think he was off the pace against Chelsea, and that's a lot of that's due to fitness. And you make silly mistakes when you're just not fit. So I think you've got to go with the lads, the core of the team that have been doing so well. And it's a mentality as much as anything. It's about mentality, and just siege mentality, and making sure you get through at all costs. It doesn't have to be pretty at times, but you just have to make sure you get the job done.
And what's your gut instinct, guys? I mean, do players get tense? I mean, the build-up to this game, we might be tense, but do players get tense, or when you get out there, is it just basically another normal game?
Probably just a normal game. You've just got to take it as a normal game. As much as it's, there's so much riding on it. Mm. Your professionalism and your mindset. Once that whistle goes, it's just another game, Stu.
Yeah.
I think the fact that there's no fans there.
Yeah.
Will make it a little bit. I think had we had the fans there last night, that might have got us over the line.
Yeah.
That's a massive, because it's I think every game now you're just so much on an even keel. No fans, just you shoot against them, and it just goes to prove that when you play at Old Trafford under pressure, the fans get you over the line. But we're all in it together now, and we've just got to make sure we do our job.
And also, Jonny had that little glint in his eye, saying, "Oh, we're under no pressure." But they were 14 points clear of United at the end of January. They were certainty of the Champions League. We're talking about us needing to make it the Champions League, but surely Leicester are under pressure as well, aren't they?
I don't think that. For Leicester, they've got to win. So all they're going to do is just go all-out attack. And I think that could play into our hands, counter-attacking.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether I'd rather be in Leicester's position where you have to win the game. Or I think I would. I think I'd rather be in Leicester's hands position, knowing that you've got to win the game. At least then that's a mental positive attitude to go out and try and win it, rather than try and sit back and defend something. Just go out and win the game. Win the game, you're in the Champions League.
Go on, Ben. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, I was just saying that obviously in the certainly it was noticeable last night, and we saw it with Brandon on Sunday. Those square passes and playing in the wrong areas, and we've given the ball away and turned it over far too easily, and passes intercepted. With somebody like Vardy, you just can't do that. They do need to make sure that they do that in the right areas, and maybe play a little bit further up the pitch than the way that we've been seeing it as of late. They're still trying to play out from the back, and somebody like Vardy, as we saw with Southampton, who closed us down quickly, he will thrive off that.
Yeah. All right, that's what's going to happen. Let's have a final assessment. Are we going to make it? Wes?
I'm confident in it, Stu, but I mean, it's probably going to be just as nervous for all us watching it as for the lads. So, but I think obviously we know we can win the game, and as a fan, I'm just hoping we go out there and focus and try and play our normal game. But it's going to be tight, and it's going to be a good game to watch.
Yeah.
And I hope we do it. I'm pretty sure we will, but fingers crossed.
Maisie, what's more likely, United getting to the Champions League or you playing well on the old course today?
Oh, I'll play well today. I'm ready for it. I've had my Voltrol to get me back going. I've had a bath this morning at 7 o'clock. Try to ease up. No, but I think Wesley's right. You just got to go out there and do your job. Do your job. Make sure that whoever you're against, whether it's Vardy or playing against Jonny Evans, you've got to make sure that you do your job against them players. And if we do that, then we'll be fine.
Webbs will get there. Are we going to get there?
Yeah, I think we will. I think it'll be a 2-1 in dramatic fashion. You know, really tight, really tense. You know, typical end of the season where there's obviously other games going on. Everybody watching the other results coming. But I think we'll do it 2-1. I think we'll win.
Ben?
If they can replicate the form that they showed up until the Southampton game, then I don't think it'll be a problem at all. I just do feel as though maybe that's gone a little bit, and they will have to rely more on the defensive soundness. But I'm with Danny. I think United will just nick it 2-1 because of what Maisie said about Leicester having to win, and maybe United can just catch them on one of them brilliant counter-attacks that they get. I'll go 2-1 as well.
Okay.
Stuart?
MUTV. Sorry, go ahead, mate.
No. What do you think? You can't have all our opinions and then not have one yourself.
I'll tell you what. There is a scenario where we can lose and still make it if Chelsea lose, but I'm hoping it doesn't come to that. I think it will be a draw, and I think that'll do. That'll do.
Score draw?
Yeah, 1-1. Again, it'll be 1-1. Take that. MUTV@manunited.co.uk if you want to get in touch with us, guys. Thanks to Jonny, obviously, and thanks to you guys. And we'll reconvene next week. Hopefully, we'll be talking about the Champions League. Take care, guys.
See you guys.
Cheers, guys.